today we are going to break down training your team into 5 super simple steps. I'm excited to share all this with all of you because I had a business myself. We had 30 people on the team, high turnover every 6 or so months. So I've trained a lot of people, broke this thing down. The method I'm about to show you, super research-based. This is kind of the best practice, this 5-step for training people. It's called the Addy method, but I'm going to break it down and show you how you can apply it to your business in a real world kind of context. All right, let's start with step 1 here. So this is our goal step. This is the who and the what. So this is the goal. And what we care about here is A, what part of our team do we need to train? Like what role? So imagine, let's just pretend we're a furniture company, and this might be our sales associates. So it could be our sales associates. Now the what, it's what we want them to get good at. And that's weird. Again, I'm doing this all live here, so bear with me if we make some mistakes. But the what, this would be maybe like closing sales. And a good way to think about this is put some kind of KPI that you can measure with it. And we're going to talk more about what those KPIs could be, but errors in closing sales. Again, don't worry for now. We just want something that we could potentially measure, and I'm going to show you how we measure it down later on here. So we got this. Again, I don't know why this is that color. That's weird, but we're going to just keep moving so that we don't slow down. So that's goal here. We're all set on our goal, right? Now we are to step 2, which is called map. And this is where it's really simple, but we want to imagine if this employee did everything perfectly, what would it look like? If they, for instance, closed the sales of a piece of furniture perfectly every time, what would they be doing? And you as the owner or the manager, you probably have a sense, like this is what I would want people to do. So super simple, we'll go ahead here and just make some bullet points. So they would always, record in our software. They never update the spreadsheet with inventory numbers. Maybe for some reason you don't want those inventory numbers in that spreadsheet. Again, I wouldn't know what this was, only you would. But write it all out, and that gives you the map. The map is key. Once we have this map, we are good to go for this step. We can box this off because it's all set here. We're all good on mapping. Step 3 is author. What we want to do here, right? We know now from map what we want the perfect flow for our employees to look like. And now we want to find some way to show them, author, or we could call it show too, but we'll call it author for now. Author a way for them to know what they're doing. And there's honestly super chill ways of doing this. It doesn't need to be too heavy lifting. One is literally just like screenshot your emails or copy paste stuff from your emails that describe how you want folks doing stuff and put it in like one Google Doc so everybody has it. Another one, and again, I'm gonna write this down so people have it. If you want this template, I'm putting it in the comments so you can just like use it as you like. So like just literally Google Doc with everything. Another thing to do would be just screen record everything, right? You can use QuickTime Player if you're on Mac. QuickTime Player, just screen record everything. Honestly, like what I'm doing right now. Again, you can put it in a Dropbox or whatever, all these free solutions, and share it around so people know what they're doing. And the last thing you'd want to think about with authoring is maybe some quizzes, because you want to actually see if the people learned the stuff, if they know it or not. That's pretty key here. So also in the links, I have a free quiz builder. You can just use that. It's super easy. Put your employees in, give them quizzes, and you can see how they do. So quiz, and we'll say parentheses, free quiz builder. Okay, so that's authoring, right? We've made stuff, and we have looked if the people know the stuff. Good deal. Okay, we're gonna box this off because we're all good on this now, right? We're all good on authoring. And boom, oops, boom. And now we are to step 4, which is called train. This is where we're actually gonna train the people. So we have 2 options here, right? The one is the super efficient thing where we just have a Google Doc or Dropbox with videos and stuff. You just give it to people and they do it. So we're gonna call this step, give people training, then give them quizzes. Okay, super good. You could imagine if we go back to our mapping, we might give a quiz that says something like, when you close a sale, true or false. You always only enter inventory in the spreadsheet. We said earlier, no, you got to enter it in the software. We have our special software we use for that. So again, give them those quizzes, you see how they do. That's training. If you have a really small team, a good way, and I did this a lot when I started my team when we had 3 or 4 people, would just, when we'd have a batch of new hires, bring 3 to 4 new hires into our conference room, just spend an hour walking through stuff. And then you don't even really need a quiz. You can just say you can check with them one-on-one, talk it through with them, say, did you understand this? Etc. So 3 to 4 new hires, conference room. Again, if you have quizzes and text documents or whatever it might be, that's a little more efficient. You don't have to keep doing this, but if you don't have that many people, that's a pretty good option there. So that's basically how we train people. So that's good. That's step 5 is my favorite step because it's what tells us if everything worked or not. Step 5 is called measure. So we have 2 things we want to measure here. We gave our employees our quiz, right? Our quizzes. So we know now, okay, did they get it right or not? And if they're generally getting it right, let's say, 90% of people pass, good. They're kind of learning the stuff. But there's something else that we need to pay attention to, and it was what we talked about earlier. It was that KPI thing, right? And I was using a furniture store as an example. And let's say our KPI that we cared about earlier, if we looked at it, where was it? We were looking at it earlier, errors in closing sales, right? We don't want errors in closing sales. Boom, right there. We don't want that. So we got to figure out so that we get our measurement right, what is an error in sale? And we might say, well, if they're not entering the inventory in the software, that's an error. We have that as an error. And again, all we need to do here is say, okay, we need to just see how many people before our training were making mistakes in entering whatever the data was. Or it could be, it could be anything. It could be they're talking to clients in the wrong way, they're using the wrong brand language. Who knows? It could be anything. And if you're not sure, just, leave a comment or whatever. I like talking about this stuff, so you can just ask me and I'll say, I think this would be a good KPI for you. But you need to say, let's say we're just using our thing. If before 3 people per month were entering inventory, hard word to spell, inventory, in the spreadsheet, right, spreadsheet, that would be bad. We don't want that. But now, if after the training, only 1 person per month is making that mistake, okay, we have a 66% improvement. Now, this measuring is important because how we like to build our training here, or how I've often done it, is like a loop. So we see, okay, we got the improvement we want. Let's see if we can make it even better. You keep looping your training and building it. And this is where there's value here in not just doing the conference room thing, but having some videos or whatever. You can keep improving them. Before you know it, you're going to have this machine that is super efficient at training your people, and you don't really have to worry a ton about it anymore. So I hope that's helpful. Leave me a comment if you have any questions about this, or you want to know kind of more about the vibe here. Happy to chat with you about, KPIs or